Welcome back to step 2 of how to teach your kid to read without stress or tears in 5 easy steps. Step 2 is putting those sounds together. So hopefully you have been working on getting your kid to know all of the A through Z letter sounds. If you just did the first focus, that is fantastic. It's going to get their foot in the door and they can start their reading journey. So SATPIN, S-A-T-P-I-N plus M and O, these letters are really easy for kids to learn how to remember. And once you teach them these sounds, you can start teaching them how to put it together to make words. You're going to want to do oral activities first, where you're just saying the sounds and then asking them to say the word that they heard. After they get pretty good at this, you can also start incorporating them looking at the letters by themselves and then putting the sounds together. At, it, sat, pit. These are just some of the words that you can make once you teach your students or children those sounds. I recommend starting with 2 sounds if 3 sounds is too tricky, but you can stay in the realm of 2 and 3 letter words to get your kids to start practicing saying the sounds, hearing the sounds, and putting them together. All right? Here's some more words that your kids can make, and even more, and even more. Just from learning those few letters, you can already start your kids' reading journey. At, an, ap, op, in. Say the sounds for your kids like t, and then ask them, what word did you hear me say? If they say, I don't know, don't worry, that's completely normal. Make sure you're saying the sounds properly like we went over in step 1. If you're saying t or p, then when they blend it together, they might say appa. And then you're wondering, why can't they say this sound or this word? Like, what's going on? And they're thinking, I did what they asked me. What am I doing wrong? When really it's a combination of just the sounds not being said properly and then them not being able to put it together into a word that they recognize and just taking their best guess. So make sure you take the time to say the sounds properly. Patience is key. I'm telling you, there is a part of the brain, without getting too sciencey and into the evidence, there's a part of the brain that neuroscientists call the letter box, where all of the letters and sounds kind of live. And until this part of the brain is developed, our students and children truly cannot hear the sounds in some of the words that we're saying, okay? You're gonna have some moments like this where you're looking like this, parents. When you say, okay, ready? Here's the word, k-a-t, and they say, caterpillar, tack, dog, tissue. And you're just like, what? How? Why did you say that? And it's really just perplexing of like, are you listening? Are you paying attention? They are. So don't question if they're paying attention. Praise them for giving it their best shot, and then just tell them the answer. Keep in mind that their brains are still developing this area that doesn't exist yet. Reading is not natural. It's something we have to teach our kids how to do. And by doing the activities that I'm about to show you on the next few slides, it develops this part of the brain. It's kind of like a brain workout. I always tell my kids, it's like we're going to the gym. Your brain is picking up these weights and you are like doing these lifting exercises that grow this muscle that make it easier for your brain to hear individual sounds and then put them together to make a word quickly. All of this happens in an instant. It's a skill that takes time. So give yourself some grace and don't say, what am I doing wrong? Or I have to do this, I have to do that. I have to make them sit longer. Don't try to start cramming in longer sessions, 20, 30 minutes. Keep it 10 minutes or less, or even shorter if your kids are even younger. And just trust the process that over time, it's going to get better. If you go to my website, readlikearockstarteaching.com, and you click on this ear, phonological awareness, and then you put your name and email into this section here, I will send you my free resource to work on phonological awareness. And phonological awareness just means being aware of sounds. Your brain, it takes in words as just one sound, and it seems seamless. You have to make your kids see the seams and reverse all of that seamlessness so that they can hear the individual parts in order to put them back together to make a word. So just kind of this like high overview. I don't want this to scare you, overwhelm you. Phonological awareness, there's a lot of things under the umbrella of phonological awareness. rhyming syllables, onset and rhyme, word awareness. And then under that umbrella is something called phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is really where your kids are going to gain those reading skills by blending, segmenting, isolating sounds, and manipulating sounds. In order to get good at phonemic awareness, your kids have to be good at phonological awareness. So you're going to want to work on all of these activities every single day for a few minutes a day, and just trust that this area of their brain is growing. Now, I'm sure that you probably don't have access to scans and to go take them in to get an MRI and see if this area of their brain is growing or not, but there are actual scans of readers' brains growing and changing as they get activities and as they learn how to read. So these are the activities. Word awareness. That's just simply being aware of how many words are in a sentence. So this is the freebie that you can get if you go to my website and download it. You tell your child, I can see the dog. How many words was that? I can see the dog. That was 5 words. We don't want them to hear, I can see the dog, and think that was one long word. We want them to be able to break that apart into different words, okay? It's important. I do want to say some of these activities seem really silly, and they seem like they have nothing to do with reading, so why would you waste your time on it? Trust me, trust me, trust me. My first year of teaching, these are the activities that were in our reading curriculum that almost everybody on my team skipped because they told me as a first year teacher they weren't important. I was so afraid of getting in trouble that I taught it anyway, and I had some of the best reading scores at the end of the school year. And everyone was wondering how a first year teacher could do that. And I was wondering myself. And I swear it's because of these lessons. And as I went on to my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th year and intentionally taught these skills, I grew to learn without a shadow of a doubt that phonological awareness has to be included in your reading instruction. So syllables, that is simply how many natural breaks are in that word. Sun. 1 syllable, it's just sun. Don't get confused and segment it into sun. That's not syllables. Happy. Ha-be. That's 2 syllables. A trick you can do is put your hand under your chin, and you can teach your students or kids to do this too. Ha-be. How many times did it go down? Twice. This seems silly and not connected, but it's going to help your child when they have to break up words later, especially for spelling. Rhyming words. Dog, log. Do those words rhyme? Yes. Go a step further and ask them why they rhyme, or tell them why they rhyme, because they both have og. Fire, tire. They both have ire. Pan, pot. This might trick some kids because they have the same beginning sound and they might just hear that p and say, oh yeah, it rhymes. No, pan has an, pot has ot. This is going to help your children later on. If they know how to read and spell the word dog, later on, when they see log, they're going to remember, wait a minute, that kind of looks like dog, but with an L, and they'll be able to switch out that sound and read that much quicker. Onset and rhyme is just the beginning of the word and the ending part of the word. Cl-ok, and you want your child to say clock. These activities help grow that area of the brain. Also, don't try to cram all of these into one day. Maybe stick to 1 page or even like a few examples from each page. Do like 1 or 2 minutes of a letter sounds flashcard warm-up drill to practice learning the sounds. Then do 1 or 2 minutes of these activities. Don't try to do too much in one day and overwhelm your child. Phoneme segmentation, that's just splitting apart the word into all of the sounds. This is really tricky. As these go on, they get harder and harder and harder, more complex on like the scale of complexity. So you would say fox, and you need them to break it apart into ox. This takes time. For a lot of your students and kids, if this is your first time doing this, you're going to be telling them the answer more than they're going to be giving you an answer. If they can give you a correct answer, fantastic. If not, have patience. It's a new skill. It's really hard for their brain to do. Phoneme blending, that's where you're going to say the sounds ox, and they have to say fox. If they don't give you the correct answer, give them the correct answer. Do give them time to have some productive struggle. When they think about it and they're really trying to concentrate on sounds, even if they don't get the right answer, the fact that they were thinking in that way is helping form those neural pathways in their brain. Phoneme isolation phoneme is just a sound, is just isolating the sounds. So you say apple, what was the first sound? I love to do this when I'm doing beginning, middle, and ending sounds. So apple. What was at the beginning? Apple. Ah. Middle sounds. So we have sh, op, shop. What was in the middle? Ah. Again, if they can't say it, tell them. The sound at the end. Hug. Hug. What's the last sound? G. This is going to help them with their reading and also with their spelling. You'll notice when kids spell words, like when they spell cat, they will just put C-T. It's because they truly couldn't hear and isolate the middle sound, so they don't even know that there's an A or an A sound in there. Doing activities like this will help them out. The hardest one to do is phoneme manipulation, and that's when you're manipulating the sounds, taking off a beginning sound, adding a beginning sound, switching a beginning sound. So you tell them to say an, add a f to the beginning. They might say anfa, f, fly. You don't know what they're going to guess. It's really, really tricky. So say, listen, when you have f, and the word is fan. Adding a sound to the ending, saying say ben, add a ch. That's going to be tricky for them until it's not. When they can master these skills right here, the phoneme addition, deletion, things like that, they're all in that pack you can download. That is when you know you have a reader on your hands, when they can quickly manipulate all of these words and sounds like that. So that was step 2. Take your time with this one. When I start teaching phonological awareness at the beginning of the year, my first wave of students will start to really catch on end of November. So that's August, September, October, November-ish is when they start to really catch on. But you should see progress along the way. They're not going to be nothing, and then all of a sudden get it. It's going to be slow and gradual, and then it clicks. My next wave of students usually pops up end of January after we get back from winter break and we practice some more. And then my last wave of students really starts to catch on end of March, end of April, before the end of the school year. Come back and join me for step 3 when you're ready.